Good afternoon, Meteorologist Mike Linden coming at you live from the MyRadar studios here in Orlando, Florida. It is yet again another severe weather day across the United States, an enhanced risk in place for a big chunk of real estate here in the U.S. Let's jump right into the app and take a look at what we are dealing with. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be chatting with you here in just a moment, but I want to jump right in and show you what we're looking at here. So I'm going to go into the MyRadar app here and turn on the severe weather outlook so you can get an idea of what we are dealing with today. And when you center the crosshair over the risk area there in the top right-hand corner of the app, you can see what we're looking at here. So we've got an enhanced risk. That's a 3 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center's scale there. It's that orangey kind of color. And that is in place for the cities of Evansville, Paducah, that's Kentucky, as well as down into Fort Smith and Fayetteville, Arkansas. A small piece as well of eastern Oklahoma is part of that enhanced risk, and we'll likely see some stronger storms in this area a little bit later this afternoon. Now, just outside of that, this yellow color that encompasses Jefferson City, Missouri, Springfield, Indianapolis, Indiana, Frankfort, Kentucky, Cincinnati, Ohio, northern Nashville, Tennessee, Pine Bluff, Texarkana area, and pushing all the way west into Lubbock, Texas, and Wichita Falls. We have a slight risk, a 2 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center scale. And then we have this area off on its own here for Columbia, South Carolina, portions of Georgia, and Alabama. This is as well a slight risk from the SPC here. Again, a 2 out of 5 on their scale. And if I turn off the weather outlooks here, you can see this yellow box. This is actually a tornado watch that is in effect for roughly the next 4 hours for Georgia and Alabama. We've already seen a confirmed tornado earlier this morning pushing through the Atlanta metro. That is why you are seeing this severe thunderstorm warning here on the eastern side of the the Atlanta metro. It is because that particular storm has a history of producing a tornado. I mean, we've already seen it this morning. In fact, let me turn on the per station radar, and we're going to take a look at what we are dealing with right now. This is a feature that's available to the, this is a premium feature in the MyRadar app, I should say, that enables you to be able to switch to radar sites all over the United States. And right now we're getting a closer look here at this particular radar site so we can watch that particular system push by. Let me pause the animation slider here so we can get a look at things. So if we push it all the way back here, roughly right about here in this general area is where we saw the tornado. In fact, if I tap on this button here on the right-hand side, it's going to load up our velocity scan. And that is going to give us a really good look. Let me turn off just for a moment. Get a real good look at the velocity. So right here, this is right around 10:05 this morning, just to the south of Douglasville there. And when you're seeing this coming together like this, the velocity scans, red is representing winds going away from the radar site, in which case it's this guy here to the south of Peachtree. Green representing winds going toward the radar site. So when you start to see that happening, right, especially that right in there, when they're tightly wound like that, it is a telltale sign, indication of some rotation. So let me put this in motion here so you can get a look at it. We're jumping between radar sites there. There we go. Okay. So it's moving fairly quickly, so I'm going to try my best to show you guys. We'll look at it as well in just a moment. There it is. You can see right down in there, right? That is that confirmed tornado that was literally on the ground. I mean, just less than 10 miles away from the Atlanta metro. We are still waiting to hear whether or not people in that area are okay, but luckily there was plenty of advance warning and lead time for this particular storm. So let me jump back. We'll put it back in reflectivity, which of course is showing us precipitation. And if I go back here, we're going to turn on the watches and warnings. For right now, let me turn off the tornado watch just so we can get a better look at things. So that is that storm, as you see, that is still under a severe thunderstorm warning there for Loganville, Stonecrest, Lithonia, Lakeview Estates there in eastern Georgia, central eastern Georgia, I should say. So let's jump back. I'm going to turn the high-def radar on, and we're going to go back out nationally here, and we'll take a look at how things are progressing. Once again, I'll turn on the weather outlooks right here. I'll actually go in here. We'll turn that down a little bit. Okay. So most of what we're seeing right now in terms of severe weather is in this little bubble here, this slight risk area. Remember, that's a 2 out of 5. Camera's over here. That's a 2 out of 5 on the scale. Keep in mind that even though that is, on the grand scale of things, out of a scale of 5, it's still even somewhat less than half. Of course, 5 is an odd number. But regardless, you need to be taking severe weather threats, especially this time of year, seriously. So you need to have that plan in place. If you just watched our coverage not too long ago for the Tornado Strong campaign that our partners at Flash just kicked off, I mean, it is for days like today where you need to know where your safe place is and what your kind of action plan is. If you have a tornado safe room or a shelter, fantastic. If you have a basement, that's going to be a good option as well. We'll talk more about what you can do here in just a moment, but I really want to focus on the active weather. So let me jump back in here. I'm going to turn the SPC Outlook off. We'll zoom back out. And again, right now, the only severe thunderstorm warnings that we're looking at that are part of the risk area are what we just saw there in Atlanta, near the Atlanta metro. So Matt, let's jump into the weather graphics here, and we'll take a closer look at some things. I'm actually going to have to move this iPad for just a moment. I hope you are all doing as well as you can be here on this Monday morning, the first Monday in the month of May. I said this in the fast forecast over the weekend. Can you believe that we are already almost halfway done with 2021? I mean, this year has flown by thus far. Let me know in the chat where you are watching from as well. I've got that pulled up. All right, so we're looking at the weather graphics here, and once again, we'll take a closer look at this storm system here that is progressing east of the Atlanta metro. This did put down a confirmed tornado. Keep that in mind. In fact, if I run it back here, so I actually loaded this site in not too long ago, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to go back on that, but we can look at the MyRadar app if need be. And keep in mind, this red color here, this is a tornado watch. This is in effect, as we talked about earlier. I'll click on it just so you guys can see it here. This is in effect until 3 p.m. Central Time for Alabama, but 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the folks that live in Georgia. So we've still got plenty of time left to go here, but the focus will then shift to that risk area off to the west, because that is likely where we are going to find even more active weather. Let me show you what that looks like here. This is the risk area from the SPC, and what do you know, just as we were chatting here, or rather, my apologies, getting ahead of myself, but either way, here you can see that enhanced risk area for parts of Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, Arkansas, as well as Oklahoma. That's that orange color there, an enhanced risk. So let alone the 3 out of 5. What does that mean? Well, an enhanced risk, we're talking about severe weather here, means numerous yet persistent severe thunderstorms, a few of which could potentially be intense. Now keep in mind that orange color there is not right now part of that risk area for the southeast. So keep in mind, we've already seen a tornado in the southeast. Just goes to show you that even though that is it's lower on the scale, a slight risk, you see that isolated intensity there under that level 2. Well, we've kind of already seen that play out, so we've still got way more to go here on this Monday afternoon for folks that live in that orange risk area. We've also seen some potential tornado damage in the bluegrass state of Kentucky, too. We will likely be following up with you for the rest of the afternoon today, because this is likely to be an event that continues on through the day today, even despite losing the sunshine into the afternoon. But again, moving on, what else does a level 3 risk mean? It means a few tornadoes. We've seen that, and several reports of wind damage. That's going to prove to be, I think, really critical here over these next couple of days, as you'll see here. Let's push into the weather model so I can show you how things may play out in the future. So let me advance things a little bit. We'll push all the way forward to 7:30 in the evening. Now, there's a pretty potent line. Let me grab my pointer tool here. Look at this up here. This is all the way into Illinois. That bending there could be indicative of some stronger winds. Also going to keep an eye on this guy here just to the north of St. Louis there in central Illinois. But then look at all these scattered storms here that kind of fill in that slight risk area in the southeast. Any of these storms could produce some pretty strong winds and potentially a tornado as well. We've already seen that happen today. So definitely worth watching. But notice this area in here, right? This is kind of the general enhanced risk area. Still not seeing very much on the models, but let me keep playing it out here. And there you go. That is why we are seeing that enhanced risk, this bowing line here. That is pretty indicative of some strong, strong winds. Think about when you pull back on a bow, right? Like if you're about to fire a bow and arrow, if you ever took archery in school. If you pull back on the bow, that bow starts to bend a little bit. This is what we would call a bow echo, in the sense where it kind of resembles that bent kind of bow. And what's happening here is that the radar site is picking up those winds that are rushing forward so strongly, and they're rushing out ahead of that incoming line, that it is reflecting so much on radar that it looks like it is bending. That's what's happening. So that is, again, a telltale sign to any meteorologist that there is likely going to be some strong, strong winds present with these storms. Definitely something to keep an eye on. A small silver lining in this, when you're talking about big tornadoes, those storms want to be off on their own. They typically don't want to be part of this big line here. They're very selfish, those severe thunderstorms that can put down a tornado. They definitely want to not share the available energy. So there's a small silver lining. Certainly doesn't mean that you're not going to be dealing with some strong winds, and it's certainly not impossible to see a tornado from that, keep in mind, but it's definitely something to keep in mind as well. So let's keep moving forward, and look at the time here. This is after midnight tonight. Let's keep pushing out. In fact, let me bring that back just a little bit, and we'll stop it right there. So, fun times here. We've got, as you see, those purpley colors kind of popping up. Again, some strong storms pushing through overnight tonight. These could potentially be rain-wrapped if we see a tornado out of this as well. I'm going to pause it right around 7:30 in the morning. There again, you can kind of see that line. This is likely right here, a cold front. But you can still see those stronger storms out ahead of that. This is kind of generally where that low is going to be, kind of in that area, because you see the winds. Let me show you here. See those winds kind of rotating counterclockwise? So pretty indicative that that's where low pressure is. These are likely to be some big boomers here, pushing into Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and into Ohio and Kentucky. Let's keep pushing out here. And then look at that line. As we'll talk about here in just a moment, the South and the Gulf Coast is under an enhanced risk for tomorrow as well. So this is a severe weather threat that's not going anywhere once we get past this afternoon. This should stay with us as we head into tomorrow as well. And those likely to be some pretty potent storms stretching all the way from the Carolinas down into Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and then kind of following that frontal boundary all the way into eastern Texas. Let's keep advancing here. You see that way that they kind of dive to the south there? Could be indicative, again, of some shear, and that could very well produce some tornadoes. I think really what you're going to get out of this, just by looking at this model run here, are some strong, strong winds. Damaging winds. Definitely something to watch for here as we push into Tuesday. And then as we head into Wednesday, things begin to clear out as we work our way into the middle of the work week. Let's take a look at the significant tornado potential here. This is kind of a composite product that's taking a look at many, many different factors, looking at the potential spin at the surface and aloft, looking at, as you just saw, the reflectivity, looking at the presence of winds and the strength of those winds and intensity. So the STP, the significant tornado potential or parameter, this is going to give us an indication of where we may find potentially EF3 tornadoes or greater. So let's advance this out here, and we'll push this all the way until 6:30 this evening. So notice not a ton of gosh, I just said the word in my head, confidence, that's the word, in the model here showing us the presence of those stronger tornadoes. It's very scattered in terms of the available ingredients for tornadic development, at least through this afternoon. Now, keep in mind, you saw that tornado watch in effect for southeastern Georgia, still in effect until 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then 3 o'clock central for portions of central Alabama. But then watch what happens. As we work our way into the late night hours tonight, that is where, and that would kind of go along with the models that you just saw there when I showed you the reflectivity, that bowing line. That is kind of what we're seeing here on this model run too, right in here. And then right up into western Tennessee and Kentucky is where that low could be positioned at that time. So anywhere kind of in this line is definitely worth monitoring as we head into the late night hours tonight. We get a bit of a break overnight and then a few scattered spots heading into tomorrow. But it looks like once we get into the late afternoon hours to close to midnight tonight, that'll be kind of the sweet spot that we will be watching for any of the bigger tornadoes to pop up. Now, let's take a look at the power outage forecast. Now, this is a similar kind of product in the sense where it's looking at those stronger winds and historical data to suggest whether or not you may lose power. And notice the red color here. I really want to show you this, let alone for the fact that you may lose power, but just showing you the presence of those stronger winds, because this model is really, really good for that. And notice we're seeing that red color, severe power outage, from Dallas all the way into northern Arkansas, into western Tennessee, and into northern Mississippi as well. We keep progressing that out, and notice that red color gets a lot larger heading into Tuesday afternoon. That is, again, indicative of those winds, as you saw, that bowing line kind of diving to the south and east. So this is kind of just emphasizing what we are likely seeing here over these next couple of days. Now, I've got to mention this. We've talked a lot about this, and remember that you can watch all of our latest content around Flash, our partner, the Federal Alliance for Safe Homes. They just launched their hashtag Tornado Strong campaign. So on the MyRadar app, in fact, Matt, let's take the app here, and I'll show folks how to access that stuff. So this is on the iPad, and notice right there in the bottom right-hand corner, that little play button. Tap on that on the mobile device, on your mobile device, I should say. That button will likely be right front and center on the bottom toolbar. But here on the tablet version, you'll be able to see the all of the videos. And if you scroll down, Flash Protect Your Home, we've got a lot of content there from our partners at Flash as we were speaking with them regarding the Tornado Strong campaign. So I highly suggest that you check that out as well. All right, so let's jump back here to the weather graphics. And then Matt and Damon, if you guys can hear me in the back here, if we can double check the status of the live broadcast in the app, that would be great. Anyway, let's jump back to the weather graphics here. And we are looking at the tornado safety. We mention this every time we're talking about the potential for tornadoes, and it's always worth mentioning again. So if you do not have a tornado safe room, that's fine. Not everybody does. So you want to get to a basement. That's going to be your best spot for safety purposes. But if you do not have a basement, not everybody does, that is okay as well, then you want to go to a centrally located spot in your home, whether that is a hall closet, a bathroom, the crawl space underneath your stairs. That is going to be that's going to be your best place to be. Just to avoid windows. You don't want to be near any windows, and you want to put as much house between yourself and the outdoors as possible. You do not want to be in a mobile home. Mobile homes become mobile in severe weather situations. So know a place to go. Know that, have that plan in place, because even though we are dealing with severe weather today, this is tomorrow. And as we saw from those models, we'll take a look at them again here, but this is likely where we are going to find some strong, damaging winds. That's that orange color there for Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, and Alabama. A 3 out of 5 on the Storm Prediction Center scale. Around 8 million or so people at risk for severe weather. The biggest threat out of all of this, as you saw on the reflectivity, we will look at that here again in just a moment, are going to be those strong, damaging winds. Large hail is likely out of this event as well. The tornadic threat is not as present as the others. We certainly don't want to rule out a tornado. We already have seen potentially a couple today so far. These storms, this particular line has a history already, and this area has already seen a tornado. I'm talking about you, Georgia. So there is the potential for us to see that again, but just by what we saw there on the reflectivity, and we'll go back and look at that again, likely going to be some strong wind gusts, potentially straight line wind damage as well, which can be deadly in their own right too. So let's go back to that. I'm going to pull up these graphics again here, and I've got the chat here pulled up in front of me as well. So if you have any questions for us, be sure to pop them in the chat, and I can answer them as they come in. And then Matt and Damien, if you guys can hear me, just confirm to me that we are good in the live stream for the app, please. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Just wanted to be sure. All right. And again, let the Matt and Damien, the guys behind the scenes, let them know in the chat that you love them. They are super hardworking. We'll also have some updates from MyRadar Storm Chaser Aaron Jajak as the day progresses. He wasn't feeling too great yesterday, but he is back out today, and we'll be following these lines, these storms, as we head into tomorrow. So it's likely to be a pretty busy day, busy 2 days, I should say, for MyRadar Storm Chaser Aaron Jajak. So let's take a look at this one more time so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about when I say the potential for wind damage. So those scattered storms there, right here in this area here, let me bring that back. Those storms that are kind of off on their own, definitely worth watching, because as we already saw today, in and around the Atlanta metro, that is where we saw a confirmed tornado. So again, we definitely want to keep an eye on the southeast. They are under a slight risk, but as we head into the late night hours, this is where you're going to see this area starting to pop off. You can kind of already see it here. Look at this storm, that one, and then that guy. I'm like off screen here. They're over and around the Dallas area. Those guys off on their own could definitely be worth watching. And notice as I kind of scrub through, they kind of just explode out of nothing. Those could be very big hail producers. We've already seen some big fat hail over Oklahoma and Texas over these past couple of days. We've shared plenty of that video all across our social media channels. Baseball-sized hail, let alone damage to your roof. You don't want to be outside during that whatsoever. We also had a user that reached out to us that says the hail destroyed their pool. I'm very sorry to hear that. That's unfortunate. But you know, silver lining here, at least you were able to tell us that, right? I mean, I tend to always look at things glass half full here. But again, we definitely are going to be watching that line in the southeast, and definitely going to, especially late tonight, start to really watch what happens out toward the central U.S. coming eastward. Let's advance a little more again. There's that line. I mean, that is definitely pretty potent there. And if I grab my tool that allows me to draw a freeform line, you can see that bend, right? Imagine, right? So that's your not quiver, that's your bow, right? And here's the arrow. So like when you pull back on that bow and you get that bend, that is what we are watching. It's also another sports reference for you. It's like when you're swinging a baseball bat, right? And you swing that bat. That's essentially what these winds are trying to do. They're rushing out ahead of that main line, the baseball bat, and that is why the reflectivity here, we are seeing that bend happening. So let's keep advancing here. So I'll pause it right about there, or I'll just kind of keep going back and forth here. So look at the time. That's something worth really paying attention to. The fact that this is overnight. I mean, I don't blame you for the folks that live in Little Rock there, Western Tennessee. You're sleeping. I get it. That's fine and good. But you definitely want to have a way, just in case, multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts. A NOAA weather radio is, of course, a great idea. The MyRadar app will alert you to these things as well. Be sure that you have those notifications turned on in the MyRadar app. Well, I'll show you how to do that just so you can double check in just a moment. But let's advance. Be sure as well, if you have a cell phone power bank, I think I brought mine today. It's typically always in my backpack. Let me grab it for you. It's always a great idea, especially the day and age that we're living in, where so many things are powered via USB. Here it is. So many things are powered via USB. I mean, having one of these things, really a great idea. I got this one online for like $30, something like that. It's got two little USB ports, so this could power your phone, a tablet, anything USB powered, even your computer, really. So if you are to lose power, which could potentially happen with these stronger winds, having something like this charged up so you can get some extra juice, especially if you have to monitor the weather with the MyRadar app or reach out to emergency services. You definitely want to be able to charge your mobile devices, especially, again, if you are to lose power. So let's keep advancing here on this graphic, and then we'll round things out. Things really start to pop off, though, heading into tomorrow afternoon. I mean, this is where you saw not long ago In fact, I can't show it there. In the southeast, kind of right in this general area, we are seeing that enhanced risk. And that's a pretty potent line right here. And then you got this one kind of diving in that direction. So a lot of shear present in this atmosphere tomorrow, and that could lend to some tornadic development. But we definitely know for one thing, just looking at these returns here on the reflectivity, that these storms are going to be packing some strong wind gusts. Keep advancing there. Did you see that? Watch from this moment here. Watch this line, okay? Watch how it bends over roughly 5 or so hour span from 3:30 tomorrow. See that? See how that starts to bend down like that? So, again, the presence of some stronger winds, even pushing up into here, into Richmond and into spots in Maryland. Interesting, interesting. So let's jump back to the current radar here. I have it off on my side here. So we are not seeing, as of right now, any tornado warnings. We still have this severe thunderstorm warning kind of heading its way toward the University of Georgia there in Athens. So that's in effect literally for the next minute. So that's going to expire here. I'd be curious to see. There it goes. How about that? And it is gone. So I'm curious to see whether or not they keep that warning up. It doesn't seem like they have issued one. So we'll probably be able to round things out, I think, on this, Matt. Before we do that, I just want to take a look at the chat here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Again, I hope fact. All right. So we got some people in the comments speaking all sorts of craziness. We got Sandy Rose. What's going on, Sandy? Hey, she says, hey, Matt and Damien. I think they know I love them. Sandy, they definitely know. We are feeling the love over here. We've got Ross asking about Titus County, Texas. Ross, you just want to pay close attention to the way things are going to be blown up into the evening hours tonight. As you just saw, those isolated storms, as they explode, likely could be producing some stronger hail. Definitely something to watch out for into the evening hours. Let's see what else we've got here. We've got Rob in Virginia. Rob asking whether or not Virginia is going to see any of this. It's possible that you might get some stronger storms up that way through the evening hours. You know what? Let me pull up this map so everyone can see it. So, you know what? I may have to adjust this graphic here for you. So stand by, because they may very well have extended that out a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of people under risk for severe weather today. I mean, we are talking, they did expand it looks like. So let me reload that. There you go. So yes, Virginia, a small portion of it there, as well as North Carolina, South Carolina, a ton of folks under severe weather risk today. Again, that orange color is the highest risk that we have seen thus far today. An enhanced risk, the orange color, 3 out of 5, whereas that yellow color that encompasses a really large amount of real estate today. I mean, they look at how far they've expanded that now. As we've just been talking here, New Mexico is part of that severe weather risk too. New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee. We're up to 10 states. Let's keep going. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia. 16 states under a slight risk for severe weather today. I didn't even include the marginal risk. That's that green color there. That's even more of them. So it's pretty much all of the central and midwestern, not central, almost all of the midwestern United States. I mean, starting to creep up there into Michigan, folks. That's wild stuff. And then almost all of the southeast, excluding Florida. So again, a lot of folks need to be weather aware out there today. Let's see what other questions we've got here. Jessica asking about Morehead City. Are we talking about Kentucky? Morehead? Let's keep going here. We've got Robin in Fayetteville, Georgia. What's up, Robin? Again, you've already seen some storms there. Got someone watching from Punta Cana. We're talking the Dominican Republic. What's up, Dale? Shout out to the DR. What else we have here? North Carolina, Branson, Missouri. what is it, Yakov Smirnoff, the comedian there in Branson. Big shout out to Branson and the Ozarks. Great TV show. We will be watching again Missouri as well. Missouri, small part of Missouri under that enhanced risk today. Let's see what else we've got here. And Amy asking about softball size hail in North Carolina. It's a little tough for us to outwardly tell you whether or not that is going to be the case. It's certainly possible. Sorry, I apologize if I'm not talking closer to the mic. All right. Let's see what else we've got. And Cheryl watching from New Philadelphia, Ohio. What's up, Cheryl? Okay. So, Matt, let's round things out here with the MyRadar app. We'll take one last look at it here. Buffalo, Texas. What up, Jimmy? All right, let's jump back over to the MyRadar app. Perfect. Before we go, I just want to talk about this. So, as expected, the National Weather Service did issue a severe... Oh, it expired there. Okay. We are waiting on the app to catch up there. But this red box here, it's a flash flood warning in effect for almost the next 6 hours. And the reason for that being is these storms are training, right? Not lifting weights training. Think about like a train, right? It has tracks. It's not going to go off of the tracks. It could, but you know what I'm saying. So following those tracks, these storms like to follow the path of least resistance. Not necessarily these storms, but severe weather in general. They're going to find kind of that path that's already been carved out and just continue to train over that same spot. And of course, with these storms, they're putting down a lot of rain too. So flash flooding, definitely something to watch out for. And you can already see, again, this flash flood watch in effect for the areas in which we saw a confirmed tornado earlier today. And that includes the Atlanta metro. So for the folks outside of the perimeter, inside the perimeter, definitely something to watch out for. Marietta as well in that flash flood watch. Lawrenceville, Grayson. A flash flood warning. My apologies, folks. And let's jump back in here. I'm going to turn the watches back on. And again, that yellow box, that is a tornado watch. That is in effect for roughly the next 3.5, 4 hours. So we will be watching that pretty closely as well. Zooming out here, we don't have anything else. So we, I think, are in a position where we can probably end this live stream. I will be here through the afternoon and into the evening hours. It's going to be a very busy day for us. Again, thank you so much for watching this live stream. If you know people that live in any of these risk areas, just let them know. I mean, the power of the people is really a really beautiful thing. They may not necessarily have internet access or may not be paying attention to the weather today. Definitely a good idea if you know people that are in these areas to shoot them a text, or just something, just say, hey, just watch out for this tonight. Could be something. Always better to be prepared. Always better to be prepared and weather aware. So I think that's going to do it for us here at the MyRadar studios. Hope that, again, you are staying safe. We will be back into the afternoon, likely for another severe weather update. If things really start to get going, we will be back for a live update. But I at least wanted to do this update, say hello, see how everyone's doing, and give you an idea of what we are going to be watching heading into the afternoon and evening hours. So remember that you can follow us. You can see them all on top of my head here. Follow us across all of our social media channels. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We're streaming on even right now. And remember, at 80,000 subscribers on YouTube, we are really close. At 80,000 subscribers, we are giving away a smartphone, either a brand new iPhone or a brand new Google Pixel. You can pick whichever one you want. Yeah, we are not biased here toward iOS and toward Android users. You can pick whichever one you want, including that beautiful new purple iPhone. It's really pretty. So you can pick. That's the most beautiful part. And we've got a lot of questions about this. People are asking if they can be an old subscriber and win the phone. Absolutely. It is not only new subscribers. All you have to do is go to youtube.com/myradar, subscribe to the channel, and be ready for that video that will drop at 80,000 subscribers where we announce the way to win the phone. And then you get to pick. It's really awesome. Not to mention, we're going to give one away at 90,000 and at 100,000 as well. We might even have something really special planned for 100,000. We are so excited for that. And again, thank you to all of you that subscribe to our channel and watch our content. We are big fans of you for sure. All right, I have rambled on enough. That's going to do it for us here at MyRadar. For Matt and Damien in the back, I have been meteorologist Mike Linden. Stay safe, everybody. We'll catch you back here in the next one.
you.